Woke up in the morning, checked auction site, saw Allsop had really good lots on there. I won't mention which ones. I made a phone call straight away to one of the partners. It was a friend of mine. Told him that we're interested in X amount of lot, because what I didn't want to do is wait and miss those lots and those opportunities. Now the good thing is, if you're watching this video, we have acquired one or more of those sites. We just bought a bank. Sanjay here from Savoys. We just bought this bank and I'm going to show you today in this video zoning, why it makes sense to partition off the commercial from the back bit, how to save your tenant for the commercial unit business rates, and how to make the back unit work for you, as well as issues that we found in this property and how we tend to overcome them, and also some ideas of what we're going to be doing with this unit. As you can see right now, we've measured this shop. So from here to just behind the counter, I'll show you, look, you can see this. So this is the commercial unit here. This is about 85 square meters. We were here yesterday, it's about 85 square meters from front to back. As you can see, the back units over here. This is the cheaper part of the zones. As you know, this is the back bit, and we've discussed zoning in the past. If I give this retail unit out to somebody, they may pay me X amount of rent. Now, as it gets to the back of the unit, the rent will get a bit cheaper, because that's the cheaper part of zoning. So it's more beneficial for me now to section this off, actually say, well, actually you're only getting X amount of retail unit space, and the rest, which is only going to give me a small amount of rent, I actually convert this into a residential unit, which is then going to give me much more rent than I would get from the commercial tenant themselves. But let me show you some challenges now that we're going to be facing. So this is one of the biggest challenges we're going to have. They've locked me up! So you can see this was where they kept probably either the money or they had safe deposit boxes here, I'm not sure. But this is all reinforced steel here. You can hear the echo. I mean, it is solid everywhere. You can see the challenges that they faced because they've done trunking everywhere with everything. So we're going to have similar issues here, because this is going to be actually part of a residential unit once we decide what we're doing with it. If you see here, obviously, before we came, people were looking at, you know, how deep it goes, how thick the walls are. So we've had some experts come in who are at the moment going to come back to us and tell us what's actually happened here, how deep it is, and what's the solution if there is one. If not, we'll probably have to trunk it, but then hide it behind plasterboard or something like that. So we'll come back to you on that once we know exactly what we're doing. So now we're above that safe room, and you can see here, again, that's probably going to be reinforced concrete with steel as well, as it is downstairs. And they've got something here which we haven't lifted up yet, but it's going to be quite interesting to see what's going on here. We know there's issues with things like this, but don't ever be afraid of that. There's always going to be a solution. You just have to just speak to the right people, and you'll always find a solution to any problem in life. So don't let things like this scare you. There will be a cost obviously attached to it, but then, as I discussed with you in the past, we bought this site for 765. It originally sold for over 1.2 million pounds. We actually offered on this, I offered 880,000 pounds earlier this year on the site, which was declined because it'd been sold for about 1.2 million pounds. So there were 3 owners for this property, and I think they had a falling out. Well, 1 or 2 of them decided not to sell it, so the sale at 1.2 fell through. It then sold for around £1 million. Again, somebody was not happy in that party and the sale fell through. I then purchased this in auction. This is why I say, if it says sale agreed, sold subject to contract or anything like this, don't think it's actually sold, because it's not sold till it's sold. I still kept an eye on it. It then went in auction, because probably 3 of them couldn't agree on anything. Chucked it in auction, I bid on it and I bought it for 765. That's £115,000 less than what I offered, and obviously substantially lower than the £1.2 million that somebody else actually offered on it. About a week later, somebody actually offered me £1 million for the site, but I'm not here to sell because I want to develop this. Also, I found out recently this property was offered on Property Elevator Show.
So we have Stephen Robinson coming to see us now with a deal that looks pretty interesting. It's a bank job, commercial to residential conversion. He's after 296k for a 50-50 share of the profits.
The deal I bring to the room today is a former Lloyds Bank in Beaconsfield. I would like to use permitted development rights to convert it into 4 flats and a single shop. I would like to go with Ranjan and Scott.
Brilliant, good choice. Well done.
Well done, look forward to working with you. It's a great
Oh,
project.
we say.
So you can see how much in demand this property was. But at the end of the day, who got it? The Savoys boys got it. Another tip I've got for you. So when you're converting these commercial to residentials, one thing that's very important is light. So you always got to make sure you have some form of light. So you can see the light coming from above there. So we have some form of light here now. Let me take you outside. As I mentioned, light is very important. So we've got the potential flat over we're going to do downstairs, which I'll come back to and exactly what we're doing because we're working with the plans at the moment. And underneath this, which we investigated, there's actually a skylight. So they've just covered it for the AC units to be on top of it. We've spoken to my team. It's not going to be too much trouble to actually lift all this up, get rid of all the air conditioning units and get the skylight back up and running, if you like. The beautiful thing about this also is it has its own access at the back and we have the same downstairs. So it's actually a really beautiful building. We also own the whole service road. So there's a road there. We own the whole road. Now that can be a good thing and a bad thing because I've got to maintain that now. So all these guys are going to get a big bill. Joke. Right guys, so we're heading in the middle of the building at the moment. And this obviously was their meeting place, like an office. So they had their meeting room. That's had one here, we've got one here. So we're still trying to work out with the architect what to do with it. We've got 3 or 4 ideas and we sat down with Malkit and the team and we're still discussing. I think I know what we want to do. So yeah, I can't tell you everything, but you're going to see this in our future YouTube videos because what we want to do with this is actually do a step-by-step video. So once we know what we're going to do, we'll let you know. Once we get the plans approved, we'll let you know. Once we start the construction, we're putting on YouTube. So watch this space to see how we convert a commercial into residential the right way. So again, we've got a meeting room here. Now, as you can see, look, they have the server racks, whatever, but this is quite a concern, right? Because someone will look at that and think, well, where's the damp coming from? Where's the issues coming from? I actually don't know. No, I'm joking. So you can see, look, the window's got condensation there. The chances are that there's either a gutter above here, which I can see the wood is all damp. So that all needs to be rectified, which is a lot of these problems sometimes are simple. I think Malcolm's put this in the video recently. It's normally a gutter issue, it's nothing else. If the whole property had damp in it somewhere, we would know, but it's not. We've had a survey done, we've had everything done. It's literally gonna be, you fix the outside and everything else gets fixed. I don't know if you can see from here, but the wood's rotten and you can see all that, and that's purely because there's wood above there and there's a gutter just above, which is where it's come from. So it's important that you check these things out when you buy properties. You know, it's important you get structural surveys done, you get bank surveys done. It's always important you do these things because if you miss something, they'll catch it. It's like the old days when you used to buy a car, you used to get the AA to come and have a look at it and check if there's anything wrong with it. So I mean, people could be doing that now, I don't know. It's always better to get a second opinion, even a third opinion. This is a bit complex right now because the issue we have is, okay, even if we've done flats downstairs, for example, you're coming up here, we've got this room here, so I honestly don't know what to do with this. As you can see there, it's just a small toilet. I may just convert it into a small office, chuck Malkit in there. Right, you come in here, you can see, got this massive crack, but it's a stud wall, so it's not a big deal. So I can see here, you've got a little bit of damp here, but I can see a gutter going across this way. So the chances are all these gutters are either full with leaves, so they're overflowing, or they're cracked at some point. So once we get the plans drawn up, once we know what we're doing, there'll be scaffolding going up. First thing we do is go up there and have a look at what's going on. But like I said, that's a stud wall, so it's not affecting the building itself. It's not a big deal. So always check whether it's a solid wall, whether it's a load bearing wall, whether it's just a stud wall. If that was a load bearing wall, I'd be worried. So always get a second or third opinion from the specialists out there. This is one of my favorite rooms, and it's not because of the kitchen, so don't make no jokes, it's because of that. I think that is so nice. I'm actually thinking of keeping that there, just painting it, making it a nice feature. But again, it's all dependent on what we're gonna do with this property. But it's nice because look, you can just come here, sit down, have a look at that, have a nice cup of tea or a coffee, and just look at people going past. Maybe read a book. I think it's honestly, it's really nice. For me, that's one of the best features of this place. But yeah, so the kitchen's already here. Just to give you a quick idea, if I was going to do something, this could form as it flat by itself, for example, because you've got a room there, got this here, you know, this could be your kitchen, diner here, possibly your bedroom and a spare room, study room. It's just me just talking, or actually no, let me change that. Kitchen, diner, bedroom, probably met at the bathroom. So these are small things that I can see straight away, but that's from years of experience. But again, like I said, we're working with the planner, so we'll come back to what we're doing. So we've gone up first floor, second floor, and now this is the third floor. So it's the ground plus 3. Let me show you this. So yeah, you can see this is a very nice room. Now, do you remember I said to you, you've got that gutter going across from downstairs where I said there's a bit of damp's going across, but you can see that gutter's going across here as well. These are challenges that we face, but I'm not worried because trust me, I've seen a lot worse than this. And once we finish with it, hopefully it's going to be the Savoys finished product, which I'm sure it will be. And you guys are going to see a major difference with this. You got this, so again, I'm not sure what we can do with this. We can make that a beautiful walk-in wardrobe, but I'm just giving you ideas right now what's going through my head. It could be an ensuite, but we have to raise that, but it's got the head height. But I don't know if you can get an ensuite. You could. There's a lot of things we have to look at here, but it's interesting, it's nice. I like challenges. I mean, we just had a challenge recently in High Wycombe, where there was a site on the high street for sale. It had offices above. The offices had planned to convert into, that was a simple office to residential conversion of 4 flats. And there was a new build that we had to construct, which was again 4 stories, which Ronnie behind the camera has done a video and done a drone shot of. And a lot of people didn't touch that site for about, I think for about 2 or 3 years, at least 2 years. The reason they didn't touch that site was it was on a high street, which has a market on it. There's no parking there. So to load and unload is an absolute nightmare. But what makes it more difficult is when you came through the retail unit, there was a width passageway which went all the way to the back alongside the office building. And that passageway was about, give or take, 2 meters wide. That's all it was. Now you imagine yourself, you've got to get the bricks, all the materials, the steels, dropped off at the front on the high street, lifted up by people, taken through there, all the way to the back, and then obviously build 4 stories up. So we faced another challenge there because we had the foundations there. Now, when we got it evaluated, we realized that if we started digging foundations, it was gonna affect the neighboring properties, which we don't wanna do. So we had to get piling done there. That was an extra £50,000, which we didn't calculate in our calculations, but it's fine because the profit was so high, we didn't mind that £50,000. Well, I did mind, but you know what I'm saying. There was enough money in there to be made for us to actually take the risk, but nobody touched that site. We actually had phone calls of people we know and knew at the time, and they said to us, oh, don't buy the site, it's gonna be a nightmare, da 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 da. But we love a challenge, which is why something like this is, I could just have my eyes closed.